We have a saying in our sport is we have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You know, when you leave the racetrack at 5 o'clock and one of your buddies has died, you know, it makes you think. Growing up around here in the 1960s and 70s, we all were pretty active kids riding bicycles and then motorcycles. We got into the local scrambles racing scene here in the valley, and that's where I met Danny. And Danny was up with another good friend of ours hiking in the mountains, and he had a fall. And he became paralyzed from his neck down. So his days of riding motorcycles, of course, were pretty much over. So immediately, motorcycles, he didn't want to lose the focus on it, so he got involved in the antique motorcycle show circuit. He saw this Indian motorcycle over here, the third one down, for sale. All of a sudden, a light went on. He says, boy, I want to get that. The man by the name of Bob Stark, who owned the motorcycle and had it advertised for sale, Danny called him and told him he'd like to buy it. And he goes, well, you know, Steve McQueen wants to buy this motorcycle as well. Bob told Steve, he says, you know, I've been talking to this kid who'd like to buy this bike, and I think I'm going to sell it to him. So Steve seemed to agree. Danny bought it, and that kind of started the whole antique, vintage motorcycle racing thing for him. What made flat track, scrambles, TT racing so interesting and you know, attended here in the valley, you kind of have to go back to the pre-war and post-war days of the 30s and 40s and into the 1950s. A lot of your towns, cities, big, small, kind of formed their own clubs. You know, Fresno had one, we had one in Chowchilla, Madera. And we would show up at motorcycle races where there were so many people there, they would go half the night. You know, we'd be leaving there at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, I mean, you could go, well, I'm gonna go to Chowchilla, you know, and there's a race in Bakersfield, you could go to that one, you could pick where you wanted to race. You can see, it was just huge. What we've created since Danny passed away in 2016, we've all tried to carry, you know, the museum and everything on and keep it going. We have our annual open house in May. So that's basically what our focus has been since he passed away. I almost call it, you know, a bit religious on one side, you know, just people coming together, you know, and have a love for it. It's a good place to come and just kind of see what it's about, what it was about. And this is a wonderful place, partly because of the story and Danny. And like I say, and I repeated, had he not been injured, I don't know that, you know, we'd be sitting here in this same form, you know. It was his accident that really launched all this stuff and brought all the people together. So it's a heartwarming story of a person who fell down and broke their neck and got up, you know, to do their best. And, you know, those are the good stories that, you know, that you want to hear.